Lumosphere English. Hello, English learners, and welcome back to Lumosphere English. I'm Emma, and I'm really excited about today's topic, which I think resonates with almost everyone in the modern world.
Absolutely, Emma. And I'm Alex, equally thrilled to be discussing something so universally relevant. We're diving deep into the question, what do people really do on social media? It's a question we often think we know the answer to, but the reality might be more complex than we imagine.
That's a fantastic point, Alex. When social media platforms first emerged, the primary goal was often described as connecting people or staying in touch with friends and family. However, if you observe how people actually interact with these platforms now, it seems like the functionality has expanded tremendously.
Indeed. I remember when Facebook first became popular, it was mainly about sharing personal updates, photos from holidays, or simply saying what you were doing. Now it feels like a vast digital ecosystem where people engage in a multitude of activities, sometimes without even realizing their true motivations.
You've hit on a crucial aspect there: motivations. Many individuals might open an app intending to check a message or reply to a comment, but they often find themselves caught in a loop of mindless scrolling. This passive consumption of content has become a significant part of the social media experience for many.
That's so true. I've definitely been guilty of that myself. You pick up your phone for a quick check, and before you know it, 20 minutes have flown by, and you've seen countless posts, videos, and articles that you probably didn't even intend to look for. It's almost like a reflex action for some people now.
It really is. And beyond that passive consumption, we also see people actively curating their online presence. They carefully select what they share, often presenting a highlight reel of their lives, showcasing achievements, travels, or aesthetically pleasing moments. This can sometimes create an unrealistic perception of reality for others.
I completely agree. The pressure to present a perfect image can be quite immense. People often seek validation through likes and comments, which can be a double-edged sword. While positive feedback can boost self-esteem, the absence of it or negative comments might lead to feelings of inadequacy or anxiety.
That's a very important psychological aspect of social media use. When people compare their unedited, everyday lives to the carefully constructed online personas of others, it can easily lead to feelings of envy or the infamous fear of missing out, or FOMO, as it's commonly known.
Absolutely. That constant comparison can be detrimental to mental well-being. It's difficult to remember that what you see online is often just a fraction of someone's life, and usually the most positive, idealized fraction. We're shown a curated reality, not the full, messy picture.
Exactly. And this leads us to another point: learning and information gathering. Many users now turn to social media for news updates, tutorials, or to explore specific interests. Platforms like YouTube, TikTok, and X, formerly Twitter, have become significant sources of information, although the reliability can vary greatly.
That's a fascinating shift. While traditional media still exists, many younger demographics, and increasingly older ones too, rely on social media for their daily dose of news. This means people are not just connecting, but also informing themselves, or at least attempting to, through these channels.
However, that also introduces challenges like disinformation and misinformation. Without critical thinking, users can easily fall into echo chambers, where they are only exposed to perspectives that reinforce their existing beliefs, making it harder to engage with diverse viewpoints.
That's a serious concern, Emma. The algorithms that power these platforms are designed to keep us engaged, and they often do this by showing us more of what we already like, which inadvertently creates these filter bubbles. People might genuinely believe they are getting a balanced view when they are not.
Indeed. So, we've covered connecting, sharing, passive consumption, seeking validation, and information gathering. What about entertainment? I think a huge portion of social media use revolves around entertaining ourselves.
Oh, absolutely. Short-form video content, funny memes, engaging stories, these are all massive draws. People scroll for hours just to be entertained, to laugh, or to simply pass the time. It's an easily accessible form of distraction.
And that ties back to the mindless scrolling we mentioned earlier. The line between active engagement and passive entertainment can become quite blurred. Sometimes people are genuinely enjoying content, but other times it's merely a way to avoid boredom or other tasks.
It definitely serves as a significant coping mechanism for many, perhaps even a form of procrastination. Instead of tackling a difficult task, it's often easier to get lost in an endless feed of entertaining or distracting content. This behavior is incredibly prevalent.
I've certainly found myself doing that. You know you should be working on something, but the allure of a quick video or a scroll through interesting posts is often too strong to resist. It's a constant battle against digital temptation, isn't it?
It really is. And the design of these platforms makes it incredibly difficult to break away. They employ sophisticated psychological techniques to maximize user engagement, making it hard to put the device down once you've picked it up. That's why people often spend much more time than they intend.
That's a critical point to consider. So, beyond personal use, what about professional or business use? Many individuals and companies leverage social media for marketing, networking, and building their brand. This is a very different type of engagement.
Yes, absolutely. For professionals, platforms like LinkedIn and Instagram are indispensable for career development, job searching, and connecting with industry peers. Even Instagram and TikTok have become powerful tools for entrepreneurs and small businesses to reach their target audience and sell products or services.
That's true. The rise of the influencer as a profession is a direct result of this commercialization of social media. People build massive followings and then monetize their content through sponsorships and collaborations. It's an entire economy built around digital attention.
It's truly remarkable how a platform initially designed for personal connections has evolved into a major economic driver. This means that for some, using social media is actually their job, their primary source of income, which fundamentally changes their relationship with it.
Indeed, their usage patterns would be entirely different from someone who is just casually checking up on friends. They would be strategizing about content, analyzing metrics, and constantly thinking about audience engagement, which is a very active form of social media interaction.
Exactly. And this brings up an interesting point about privacy. For many, sharing personal details or location is a major concern, while for an influencer, sharing their life is part of their business model. They often navigate privacy concerns very differently.
That's a substantial difference. It makes you wonder how the average user's data is being utilized compared to the public persona of an influencer. Data collection is an invisible yet constant activity happening in the background for all users.
It's certainly something that more people are becoming aware of, and rightly so. Understanding that our interactions, likes, and even the time we spend on certain posts are all being analyzed can shift our perspective on how we use these platforms.
Definitely. So, we've discussed a wide range of activities, from maintaining distant relationships and seeking instant gratification to serious professional networking and even earning a living. Social media is clearly not monolithic in its uses.
No, it's incredibly diverse. And I think one of the more subtle things people do on social media is to simply observe. They might not post much themselves, but they spend a lot of time watching what others are doing, perhaps drawing inspiration or simply satisfying curiosity.
That's a good observation, Alex. The term lurking is often used for this kind of passive observation. It's like being a fly on the wall, witnessing events and interactions without actively participating.
this can be a very quiet, almost invisible form of engagement.
Yes, and it's important to recognize that this passive observation can still have significant effects. For instance, seeing a constant stream of positive news from friends can be uplifting, but seeing others' successes without understanding their struggles can lead to unrealistic expectations for one's own life.
That's where the comparison trap often begins. People might see a friend's new car or holiday photos and instantly feel a pang of jealousy or a sense that they are falling behind. This cognitive bias can be quite powerful and hard to shake off.
Indeed. It's a reminder that social media often presents a highly filtered version of reality, a digital facade, if you will. The less glamorous aspects of life, the struggles and the mundane, are typically omitted, leading to an unbalanced perspective.
Absolutely. So, what about using social media for advocacy or social change? We've seen numerous movements gain momentum and spread awareness through these platforms. This is a powerful, impactful use that goes beyond personal entertainment.
That's an excellent point, Emma. Social media has undeniably democratized information dissemination and facilitated collective action. It allows individuals to connect with like-minded people, organize events, and pressure institutions for change in ways that were previously unimaginable.
It offers a global stage for voices that might otherwise remain unheard. Whether it's raising awareness about environmental issues, human rights, or local community problems, the reach of social media can be truly transformative.
However, it also presents challenges, such as slacktivism, where people might feel they have contributed to a cause by simply sharing a post without taking any further meaningful action. The ease of participation can sometimes dilute the impact of genuine activism.
That's a valid critique. It highlights the distinction between performative activism and substantive change. While raising awareness is crucial, it's often just the first step, and real-world action is ultimately required to effect lasting change.
Exactly. So people use social media for connecting, sharing, entertainment, information, professional networking, social activism, and even just quiet observation. It's a truly multifaceted tool that has become deeply embedded in our daily lives.
It certainly has. And with so many different uses, it becomes vital for individuals to cultivate mindful habits around their social media consumption. Otherwise, it can easily consume them rather than serve as a beneficial tool.
That's very true. Setting boundaries, scheduling digital detox periods, and intentionally choosing what content to engage with can significantly improve one's overall experience and prevent the negative aspects from taking over.
I've started doing that myself, Alex. I now try to limit my mindless scrolling to specific times of the day, and I've noticed a significant improvement in my focus and overall mood. It's about being in control, rather than being controlled by the endless feed.
That's an excellent strategy, Emma. It shows that while social media can be overwhelming, individuals do have the agency to shape their relationship with it. It's not an all-or-nothing situation. There's a spectrum of engagement.
Indeed. And thinking about the future, I wonder how social media platforms will continue to evolve. Will they become even more immersive? Or will there be a shift towards more private, niche communities?
That's a compelling question. We're already seeing a trend towards more private group chats and smaller, more focused communities, where people can discuss specific interests without the pressure of a large public audience. This could be a counter-movement to the broad, public highlight reel phenomenon.
I hope so. Perhaps the focus will shift back to genuine connection and shared interests, rather than purely performance or comparison. That would be a very welcome development for many users, I believe.
I think it's certainly possible. The landscape of social media is constantly changing, and user behavior often drives these changes. If enough people seek a more authentic and less overwhelming experience, platforms will eventually adapt.
So to summarize, People really do an incredible variety of things on social media, from simple connection to complex professional endeavors, and from passive entertainment to active social change. It's a mirror of our diverse human needs and desires, isn't it?
It truly is, Emma. And understanding these varied uses, both positive and negative, is the first step towards a more intentional and beneficial relationship with these powerful tools. We should strive for mindful engagement.
Absolutely. It's about harnessing the power of social media for our benefit, rather than letting it dictate our attention and influence our self-worth. That requires conscious effort and a critical perspective.
Indeed. So, we encourage all our listeners to reflect on their own social media habits. What do you really do when you open those apps? Are you connecting, learning, entertaining, or perhaps just mindlessly scrolling?
Think about it. Are your online interactions truly fulfilling, or do they leave you feeling drained? A little self-awareness can go a long way in cultivating a healthier digital life. It's a continuous process, of course.
It really is. And remember, the goal isn't necessarily to abandon social media entirely, but rather to use it purposefully and in a way that aligns with your personal values and well-being. That's the key takeaway for today, I believe.
Well said, Alex. Thank you, everyone, for joining us on Lumisphere English today for this insightful discussion. We hope it has given you plenty to think about regarding your own digital footprint.
Yes. Thank you for listening. We always appreciate you spending your valuable time with us.
Goodbye, and see you in the next video.